Hey Ron, so today we're going to be talking about how to prepare the Lodge 30cm cast iron skillet for first use after receiving it straight from the factory. Alright, so this thing comes pre-seasoned, but you shouldn't trust it with your goldfish's life because I guarantee you whatever they did to pre-season it will definitely not be enough for your first coat. So what we're going to do today is we're going to wash this, clear off any impurities around the cast iron like here, and then we're going to heat it up, put some oil on it, season it up for the first time, and then get it ready for first use. All right, let's go. Let's start with the cleaning. All right, so we're going to get our water nice and warm. Here we go. Water's nice and warm. So we've just given it a rinse. What we're gonna do is go with our soap, dishwashing liquid or detergent, whatever you want to call it. And I've got some steel wool, and this is abrasive enough to scrub off any impurities and any nasty bits that we don't want on there before we put our first coat of oil on it. Go ahead and get that scrub. Maybe we want to agitate it first a bit with this and get a lather going. All right, so there were some bits here that I wanted to get off. Let's give this a scrub. This one's quite stubborn, but I think we got it now. All right, go around and buff the edge of the skillet, and it is quite slippery, so be careful. It's slippery and heavy. Giving that a good buff. Make sure you get the handles and underneath here as well. We'll go for a last feel around to make sure that there's no bumps. If there are any bumps, we want to just smooth them out with this steel wool. Okay, there's a bump there. Okay, nice and smooth. All right. Alrighty, so we've rinsed off our cast iron. It's nice and clean. We've buffed it to smooth out the edges. I'll just get that bit of soap there on the handle. And it's ready for our coat of oil. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chuck it in a hot oven, okay? That will assist all this water in drying off, and it's also gonna heat up the pan and open up its pores so it's ready to accept our first coating of oil. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, hang on. I've just found some more bumps on the underside of this handle. So hold that thought on the chucking it in the oven just yet. Okay, I think we're good to go. Alrighty, take 2 on chucking it in the oven. All the bumps are well and truly gone. Let's go ahead. Alright, so we got our cast iron skillet in a hot oven. It's gonna dry off all the water and evaporate it, and then also gonna heat up the pan so that the pores open up and it's ready to accept our first coat of oil. I'll see you back when it's ready. Alright, so our cast iron has been in a hot oven. Looks like all the water has evaporated and the metal has expanded and the pores have opened up. So let's take it out and put some oil on it. Okay, let's put some oil on this thing. I'm using a vegetable oil because it has a high smoking point and it's also dirt cheap. We'll just swish it around so that the surface of the pan, which is our most important part of the pan for sure, is covered sufficiently. See if we can get it onto the edges, but this thing is very hot. All right, 1 second. When you're doing this, you have to be very careful that you don't splash yourself with hot oil or drop the pan and hurt yourself, because it's very hot and it's very heavy. All right, so we're just gonna let that sit for a minute, and the pores have opened up because it's hot and it will start to eat up that oil. And then after it's rested for a few minutes, we're gonna rub it all around, all over the surface area of the skillet, and then we're gonna season it. I've got a oven preheating at 260 degrees Celsius, which is the maximum that it will go to, and then it will be ready to accept this cast iron for seasoning. All right, see you then. All right, so the cast iron has rested for a few minutes. The open pores have soaked up all the oil, so now we're gonna rub it around the whole entire skillet. We're gonna make sure that we get every single piece of surface area, even the underside and the underside of the handles, because this is one whole piece of metal and you wanna treat it exactly the same way across the whole skillet. Okay, here we go. And once again, guys and girls, when you're doing this, be very careful that you don't burn yourself, because remember, we're working with some hot iron, and you gotta be careful. So we're gonna fill in the gaps that this indented Lodge logo made. get the rim. It's really quite hot. Whew. So do what you need to do to make this more efficient. Turn it upside down like this. Get everywhere, get the underside. You want a thin layer of oil. Not too much, otherwise it will cake up and be very hard to remove. And not too little, otherwise, you know, you're just wasting your time and you're wasting your oven power and you're wasting your oil and your effort. Because this does take some effort. All right, get the handle, get the underside of the handle. Okay. So we're almost done. Let's just flip it over and make sure we got every little nook and cranny. There's not a lot of nooks and crannies here, but you know, just get everywhere pretty much. Okay, we're done. So I'm going to open up the oven, all right, and then I'm going to put this face down on the rack and make sure you have something underneath your cast iron skillet to catch any drippings. You can put aluminium foil or some kind of metal tray or whatever. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bake it at the highest temperature for about an hour, and then you're going to come in, leave the door closed and turn the oven off and just wait for it to cool down naturally, okay? So here we go, let's put it in the oven. Oh, it's so heavy. All right, so there we go. All right, that's it guys. So as I said, 1 hour or 1.5 hours at the oven's highest temperature, and then come back, turn the oven off. Do not open the door, just let it cool down by itself with the door closed. I'll see you then. Okay guys, so the cast iron skillet is in the oven. And as I said, we're going to leave it cooking in that hot oven at the highest temperature it can go for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. And then when we come back, we'll turn the oven off and let it cool down without opening the door. What you want to do for a first time skillet is repeat the seasoning process, which is the oil, surface and cooking it for 1.5 hours on the highest temperature. You want to do that 2 or 3 times before you use it to cook with for the first time, to ensure a really, really nice, even, solid coat of seasoning that's baked in and good to use before you ever start using it to cook food that you're going to eat with. I'll make another video once I've done that, and then you can see the results of the season, of the first time season. All right, see you then.